Hey everybody, and good Monday evening, and welcome back to the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. Another absolute clunker out there today, but today was kind of the grand finale, if you will, of the ridiculously cold weather that we've had of late. Things are going to start to turn around as early as tomorrow, but the bigger change occurs later in the week. But this will be the last day. We have temperatures struggling to get above 40. We've seen our last snowflakes of the season, and things are going to start turning the corner here before you know it. But what a list we are on here. This is a list of the coldest high temperatures on record for any calendar day in the month of May. 38, the coldest maximum temperature for any day in May. That was back on May 8th, 1947. But notice 3 of the last 4 days are on this list: Friday, Saturday, and today. Friday's high 43, Saturday's high 44. Today's high just after midnight was 44. We actually spent most of the day in the lower 40s. Pretty remarkable that 3 days this May make it on this list. Well, not a great time lapse to show you from Columbiana today. Just a slate gray overcast, and occasionally we had a little rain and some snow grains, some snow pellets mixed in with the rain. Hard to call them snowflakes because they were more of the solid pellet or grain type of precipitation. The steadiest of which is pushed out to the east this evening. Now, could there be a sprinkle or a snow grain here and there this evening, and maybe even past midnight in a few spots? I can't rule that out, but the steady drizzle and light precipitation we had earlier on has pushed away. It's yet another night in which we are under a freeze warning in eastern Ohio and western PA. We'll have one more night like this tomorrow night, and then we are done with the frost and freeze threat, finally, for this season. Of course, we're now behind schedule for seeing the last 32-degree reading of the year. Over the past 2 years, our last 32 occurred in April 29th. The 30-year average a handful of days ago on May the 6th. Yeah, looks like our final 32 this year will probably be on May 13th. Not quite as late as 2015 and 2016. When, we had a couple of real late ones there. And May 25th back in 2013, actually the last 10 years, for all the warming of the atmosphere that has occurred and the warming of many of our weather records here locally, we've actually had a few really late freezes over the last decade. All right, as we go to the day Tuesday, some sunshine to start. I think clouds are going to bubble up in midday and afternoon. There's still plenty of cold air aloft. And I can't even rule out a sprinkle. Notice our model tries to paint a little bit of green here across our area. A lot of dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere will prevent this from being too much of anything, but maybe there's a stray sprinkle tomorrow afternoon. Crystal clear then tomorrow night, and I think tomorrow night's even colder with a hard freeze. Frost is likely, and we'll be flirting with a record low of 29 tomorrow night. But then high pressure gives us a nice and sunny afternoon with temperatures making their way into the upper 50s. Finally, our much anticipated warm front heads our way by Thursday. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is this warm front's going to trigger some showers on Thursday. Probably no thunder yet on Thursday, but the atmosphere should become unstable enough that we'll have some chances for some thunder as we head through Friday and the weekend. And actually, with a front kind of washing out and stalling nearby, we've got a fairly unsettled forecast for Friday, for Saturday, perhaps into Sunday as well. So it's not going to be a bright and sunny, beautiful start to this pattern change. Yes, it's going to warm up, but we're going to be dealing with wet weather risks. So here's our high temperature forecast. Don't forget, you can check out these numbers anytime on the Storm Tracker 21 app. We'll crack 70 as early as Friday and make our way into the lower and middle 70s by Saturday and the weekend. I think the warmest weather is going to hold off until next week. I think we've got a chance at 80 next week. Look at the pattern evolution here. This is a sight for sore eyes, that is for sure. Big upper low, big trough of low pressure on the west coast, and then downstream of that, ridge of high pressure, sprawling ridge of high pressure actually, from the Rockies on east, and that's a weather map that's going to produce lots of warmer than average temperatures, especially next week. Again, we're somewhat above average by the weekend, but I think by Wednesday, Thursday next week, we could be 10 to 12 above average, and that would put our highs around 80 or so. I think that is definitely on the table. Second half of next week by days 9 and 10 into the future. But again, it comes at a little bit of a price here, at least for the end of this week and this weekend. I think we'll dry out some next week, but from late this week into the weekend, maybe into Sunday night, Monday morning, several rounds of showers, possible thunder. And, we're getting into the time of the year, especially with the pattern becoming much more typical of May, we're getting into the time of the year in which severe weather risks will start increasing. So as the pattern evolves into a much more typical mid to late spring pattern, that's going to come with risks of showers and storms and increasing severe weather risks, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Maybe not this weekend, but thunder going to be a possibility this weekend. But I think as we head beyond this weekend and towards the last third of May, we're going to see several opportunities for some fairly typical mid to late springtime thunderstorms. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks update. I'll see you back here same time, same place on Tuesday.